Just waiting for it to connect.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders Worldwide Online Toastmasters Club. Our club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Worldwide is designed for politicians, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as anyone who wants to make their message heartfelt and authentic. Core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters, where leaders are made.
And let's welcome our new president, Dr. Nadine James.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for such a brilliant introduction. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in this world. I'm sure you'll notice it's just three of us today, our faithful Sergeant of Arms and our new VPE, Rosemary Sweeney. I had the honor of stepping into her position, so she is our immediate past president. And we're missing others, but that's okay. The show still goes on. All right. So today, our theme is the first steps. So we will talk to you, our program will cover that theme. And so now I'm going to turn it over to our trusted VPE and Toastmaster of the day, Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome to our first meeting. And it befits our first meeting that our theme is the first step. Our meeting this evening will comprise of one speech and an evaluation of that speech, because in Toastmasters, we love to be evaluated. It is said that evaluation is the breakfast of champions. And that's what we are here to be, champions. However, before I call on our speaker, our first speaker, her speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Or I will be the timer, and our evaluator will be Toastmaster Alex. Toastmaster Alex, can I share my screen?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. You are ready to go.
Thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. Share. And as I said earlier, our theme of our meeting is the first step. And this is our first meeting for our Toastmasters year, July 2024 to June 2025. And this year we are going to have an amazing Toastmasters year. Sometimes our first step can be very difficult. However, it is said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And when taking our first step, sometimes that can be a very big challenge, because we are afraid of so many things. We're afraid of failure, we're afraid of judgment. But it is said that fear should not be a barrier, but a signpost to point us to where we have the most potential for growth. Because sometimes success is just beyond that failure, and we fail and give it up. I love the story of Thomas Edison and the light bulb. And more so when COVID came around, I used to find, what if Thomas Edison had stopped on that 900th time of trying to have that light bulb here, which we are so thankful for having today. So we never know when we are going to win that round or become successful. And this is telling us that we should never give up. We should strive to be successful. And in failing, we discover our strengths and we know our weaknesses and where we are going to do better next time. And at this time, I will call on our speaker, Toastmaster Dr. Nadine James, to present the title of her speech and present her speech. Let us make her feel welcome.
Okay, so I'm going to use the theme First Steps as the title of my speech. And thank you so much, Rosemary, for segueing me into this speech. I think your introduction was just perfect. You spoke about the many steps to take when you're on the journey. You spoke about when you're taking those steps, sometimes you can have failure. So today I'm going to speak to you about my experience with first steps. And so first steps in terms of illumination and our preparation for a gala event, right? That was in preparation from last year. We had assembled a team of people about 5 Toastmasters actually, Cynthia being one of them, to help with the first time that we would have a gala for illumination. And we planned to have our event at a specific location in Long Island, New York. It so happened that as we were planning and we made our payment according to the agreement, within 2 weeks or so of the time of the event, 2 or 3 weeks, we were told we had to pay an additional $750 just for parking, for valet parking. And so we said, absolutely not. So within 3 weeks, we had to change gears and have our meeting at the location or the address of illumination, which was in the Bronx. It turned out well. It turned out that more people came in because it was closer to home, and our students came in. We had a blast. So with the high performance leadership, we had planned that from there, that would segue. So that high performance leadership project helped one of our participants get her Distinguished Toastmasters award. So she became a Distinguished Toastmaster just before the last term. Now, next first step for us would be the planning of a symposium that so this would have been part of a Distinguished Toastmasters project, which we were planning for this weekend coming up, July 20th. And during this time, we had sent out applications for funding. Now, after we had our gala, we invited certain people from the community, respectable people, as well as government officials and so forth, and we were submitting requests for grant funding. So after we had our gala, we were told, yes, we were approved and we would receive this funding. So much time is passing and I'm not seeing anything. Like, what's happening? And I kept calling. And so, I was asked questions like, is this where you are? Are you a part of this particular location? And I said, yes, we're a part of it, but we are a separate entity. And I guess that caused the confusion, because then I was asked for additional paperwork, which I submitted. Now, so that was in April. And I'm still not hearing anything. So I had other team members call because I didn't want to seem like I'm the only one trying to find out what's happening with our funding, because we want to have the money in place so we can take our students from the Bronx and from other locations to come to Buffalo for their symposium and have monies to make sure that they're able to lodge and eat and enjoy places like the Play Museum and the Niagara Falls. So other persons started pursuing and asking what's happening. And they were told, you will hear from us. So it happened that after we submitted the other documentation, I got a message from the New York State Charities Bureau saying that the application you recently submitted is incomplete and it needed additional documents. So I looked at it and I was like, I didn't recently submit a document to the New York State Charities Bureau. And I was like, this was submitted in February and it was approved. So why are they now saying that I recently submitted one? Lo and behold, asking team members, same people from Toastmasters, what do you think? So they said, okay, do what they asked to do. And so I asked New York State Charities Bureau, what is the issue here? What is it that we're missing? And I was told, you're missing the certified certificate of corporations. How do you get that? You have to go to the New York State Division of Corporations to request. I requested it by online. I got it the same night by email. Do you know what I saw when I read through that certificate? My name was there. The initial way we set it up, the first page, my name with the other people who I'd set it up with. Second was right. The second page, my name was there, Dr. Nadina S. James. Who is Dr. Nadina S. James? When I looked underneath that, I saw a signature that did not belong to me. And so I scrolled down some more and then it showed who had helped us to set it up in the initial stages. So I was like, red flag. Continued, and I notified the people in our WhatsApp group who are more versed than I am in this arena. So one person said, go back and just the person said, submit it and make the necessary changes afterwards. So I said, even with the fact that that's not my signature and my name is spelled wrong and all of that, I would have caught this years ago. Anyway, then she said, okay, check to see if the EIN is the same. When I checked to see the EIN, I saw 2 different numbers from what we got from the IRS. Now talk about first steps. Like, what is this? So, as Rosemary pointed out earlier, when you're taking these steps, there's always sometimes there are failures, right? And so I mentioned the failure with the location. And so this is like another wrench in our process where, and I'm glad we found it, there is some sort of chameleon trying to be us. So right now that has put a pause on our symposium for the students. And it has also put a pause on our plans to have our students be a part of the youth leadership program. Now, I said pause. It doesn't mean that it is canceled. It's just paused until we know for sure what exactly is going on and who is siphoning off our funding. I have to laugh because if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. So for first steps, that's my first experience of anything like that. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm grateful that it was exposed at this stage. And so we'll learn, we will be a part of the solution and learn what to look for in terms of being vigilant next time as we're going along this journey. Yeah, so it has delayed our students and delayed our programming, but the good thing is it's a learning process and we are grateful. And so I thank you for this opportunity to talk about my first steps towards the DTM project and the the wrench that came in our way as I'm preparing for my DTM project. Thank you very much.
Thank you for not giving up when you could have easily given up, because things like that, sometimes we feel so embarrassed that so many people are waiting on us, and then we cannot fulfill what is expected of us. But you did not give up, and that's the beauty of not being able to be consistent with what you do and do not give up so easily. And I have another to share my screen again as I look at, you had just started, and that's what it is all about. You have just started, and you started small, not even being aware that other people are looking at you. And some people do not have what you have in mind. They are very devious and can just piggyback on what you're doing and take it over. However, in listening to you, I found you humble, and though your steps seem small, as I said, and insignificant, they are the foundation with great success, because you are believing you're doing it small and trying to do it. Here is somebody now coming to even overtake what you're doing just to get the money and the glory, and not realizing what you're doing from your heart. And it is said that everything starts with steps and actions. And I love the fact that you were saying you have just paused, you have not stopped, because I know you're going to get greatness, and the children are going to be thankful for what you have done for them. And I would like to know if our evaluator is ready.
I guess that's me.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's a great story. And the reason I say it's a great story, because although it doesn't necessarily have the ending that you're ready for, you're still pursuing. And I think that that's something that is encouraging. I think you could have done a little bit with vocal variety, just having a little bit more vocal variety. But I think also when you give your stories, it's all about pacing. I thought your pacing was really good, but there was a couple of things that if you do want to highlight, is when you're telling your story, sometimes you're telling it like you're talking to us, which is a good thing, but at the same time, try to be more like a speech as opposed to that casual conversation. And I know it's hard because I have that same problem too. So all in all, I think it was good. I think it's a speech that you can really expand upon and do something else with. And I can't wait to hear it again and hopefully have an amazing outcome.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alex, for your evaluation of Toastmaster Nadine's speech, because we all need those evaluations. I love evaluations. That's what kept me in Toastmasters. I always remember the first time I came to a meeting, I could not understand people who were waiting for someone to tell them what they were not doing correctly, and everybody was smiling and no one had that tense face wondering, what are they going to tell me? Why are they telling this to me? And this hooked me, and so I know I enjoy evaluation time. And we in line with our theme. My next slide shows on building momentum. Let me see if I can share. Because it is said that when we take those small steps after a while, we build momentum. So that first step, we might be hesitant, but after a while, we build momentum and we keep on going. And although at the first time we are fearful and we do not know what the outcome will be, but as we go along, our skills improve, our confidence increase, and we understand what we are doing. Imagine in Toastmaster Nadine's speech, she could not understand why she was getting those type of responses because she had done everything she did correctly. She could have just gotten fed up and left it. But in taking those small steps, asking others to assist, at the end, she realized, hey, somebody is doing something there which is not in line with what we are going to do, and it is on pause. For her to go now and get her victory, she will be victorious, not only for herself, but all the children who are waiting on her, waiting to see that Niagara Falls, to be in that. I don't know if they would love that cold area because Buffalo, I find, is very cold. So they will be there and they will enjoy it. When you're out there, you still are cold, but when you see that falls and the water just coming through you, it is exhilarating and thrilling. And I know the children will enjoy it. At this time, I will call on I will be the timer. Toastmaster Nadine's speech went above 7 minutes. My phone went off, but it did not keep. So if we are going to have a 7-minute speech, we should try to keep it to 7 minutes. What could be done, because it was just on the spur of the moment speech, which I find you had a lot of information, so that means you know what you were going to speak about. Probably you can contextualize it and decide, well, I'm going to give 3 areas of that speech and give that, because that normally sums up to a 7-minute speech. With your intro, you give us 3 areas and your conclusion, and it normally sums up to 5 to 7 minutes. So probably you can keep that in mind for next time, what you did, how you went about it, what you found out. Whatever the children felt, in that kind of way, it would give to 5 to 7 minutes. Other than that, because it's a topic dear to your heart and which you know intimately, you could beforehand ask for, because I think you could ask for 8 to 10 minutes. We are in an advanced club, and so we can ask for our speeches to be a little longer. However, the timer must know in advance. Other than that, you will be timed the regular 5 to 7 minutes. Overall, so far, our meeting, though small, I remember the verse of scripture, little is much when God is in it. No matter where 2 or 3 are gathered, He's there. And we are here to improve on ourselves. So as long we got a very valuable evaluation, and it doesn't matter whether 1 person is there or 3 people are there, and we are given that type of information, we can use it and get out tomorrow and do better. So at this time, I call on our president to take over this portion of the meeting.
So to Alex, our dear SSA, faithful SAA, and our faithful Vice President of Education. I just want to thank you both for dancing with me in this conversation and sticking it out, even though we don't have the full number of persons that we're used to. And as you said, Rosemary, where 2 or 3 are gathered, God is in the midst. And I really like that you came prepared with those slides, because it really helped with the flow of what was being said, and you appropriately placed them in areas that enhanced what was being done or what was being said. So thank you so much. We have our meeting, our leadership meeting this Friday. And one of the things that we had promised was that we would look at the club success plan. Each of us would look at the club success plan and come with our own ideas to build out that plan. So I'll tell you from the executive meeting that we had on Saturday, which I could tell from the numbers, the focus, three areas, club growth and new clubs and what was the other one again? Oh, getting distinguished. So becoming a distinguished district. So for all clubs to get their distinguished accolades. So those are the three areas that, and it makes sense because if you look at the numbers, you know, you'll see that a number of participants have been lost, and also you'll see that the club seem to be dwindling, especially in D57. But does it mean that we can't increase these numbers? No. So the focus are on those three areas, and it was likened to the Olympics, and Toastmasters was likened to the Olympics. And so I'm asking us, just like how we today, you know, we might have seemed like we weren't prepared, but we did our part. We had our speech, we had an evaluator, and we had you, Rosemary, enhancing what was said each step of the way. So we were here carrying out our roles. So now the focus would be on growing this club, bringing in members. And so each one of the things that was said is like each one reach one, right? As you said, Rosemary, baby steps. And you know, as we're walking, we'll build the momentum. We just have to, what I want is for us to have the mindset, even though we're small in number right now, we just have that positive mindset that the club will grow, and not have a mindset. I'll tell you this. I spoke to one person who was a little disappointed with her experience in the club. You know, it was my intention to call persons on the roster. And so this was one of the persons who I got to speak to first. And she was a little disappointed with her experience in the club. She said she was disrespected and she couldn't stay. She left. So what I'm asking is for us as the leaders to have that growth mindset and that respect. Just treat people how we would like to be treated. And I'm sure like having that attitude will attract persons to come in, you know, so whether it's just the three of us or not, just keep it in our mind that this club is going to grow and this club is President's Distinguished. We might not have it on paper right now, but it is President's Distinguished, and that's what we're standing in. Okay, so I just want to thank you so much.